The Long Goodbye is the second episode of the 6th season of Full House. This is directed by Jeff Franklin, and as always, there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts. And I think this is a pretty decent episode. We have a fun intro. Michelle is no longer interested in Bubbles because Joey is playing with Bubbles with the twins, and he decides to prove that she's not too old for Bubbles. And it's a nice, fun way to start things off. Nicky and Alex actually get a bit of focus in this episode because they're playing with a doll that Michelle gave them, a baby doll. And Jesse doesn't think his boys should be playing with a doll. And obviously Becky, I say obviously, Becky has no issue with this though. And she's trying to tell Jesse that it's not modern day at the time, thinking that boys can't play with a doll if they want to. And initially Jesse pushes back, but ultimately we see him showing the babies, well, they're not really babies now, showing the twins how to care for the baby doll. And it was really sweet, and I think we had some nice messages in there, and it's nice to get to know Nicky and Alex a little bit more, and I rather enjoyed it. We also get to know Steve a little bit more. We learn quite quickly that Steve likes to eat. And I love Steve as a character. I don't want to say too much about what happens with the character going forward, but what we got to see of Steve at breakfast time, I rather liked. And then we have part of the narrative focusing on Danny and Vicky. And to be honest, I'm surprised they felt the need to draw a line under this, because ultimately what happens, Danny's watching Vicky on television, she's doing a live broadcast, and she gives him their secret signal, and Danny realises that it's too painful to have this long distance relationship, so he's going to break it off with her when she comes to visit. And honestly, I don't think they needed. I feel like I'm assuming they thought, well, we better wrap Vicky's story up nicely so people don't wonder where she went or what happened to her. But Danny's dated a lot of people and we never hear of them again. And it's just the assumption that they just decided to not continue with things. And honestly, had they never brought up Vicky again, I would have assumed the same thing. So I don't think they really needed to do this part of the narrative, but I don't mind it. It's fine. I don't really care for Vicky too much, but I don't dislike the character, but it worked well enough. And then we come to my favourite part. Well, favourite, but least favourite, because Teddy has a secret. And he and Michelle are at school. We have the classroom. It's a really lovely environment, and Michelle is doing her eyes, and she asks Teddy if he wants to dot her eyes because he really likes to dot eyes. And she tells him, "Tell me your secret, and then you can dot my eyes." Which I have to say, pretty clever for Michelle to go and get what she wants that way, and slightly manipulative. And he tells her that he is moving. And she's instantly very sad about this. And I'm sad about this too, because Teddy is such a great character. And as I said, it's favourite but least favourite because I don't want him to leave. But I love the fact that the episode focuses on Teddy, so it's kind of bittersweet. And we then see, sometime later, we see an empty chair next to Michelle, which is heartbreaking. And then a new girl is brought in from another classroom. This is Denise, played by Jurnee Smollett. And she sits next to Michelle, and Michelle has a new friend. So it's a good part of the episode, but definitely bittersweet because Teddy is such an adorable character. He's so lovely, and I always don't want to see Michelle upset either. So it's my favourite part of the episode. But I also don't like that it happened. Other highlights, the bubble scene at the beginning was really good fun. How they handled the story with the twins and the baby doll, and Steve in general, Steve's brief appearance in this. Kimmy was great in that scene as well as the breakfast scene. And I really enjoyed it a lot. Not really bothered that they decided to tie things up with Vicky. It's fine, I don't care for it. I just didn't get any entertainment out of it really. And that's partly because I also I'm not that bothered about Vicky as a character. But nevertheless, this is a really great episode of Full House. The Long Goodbye definitely is bittersweet, but ultimately it's still enjoyable.